So, has it ever happened to you that you're at a conference, you're taking your coffee, someone approaches you, looks immediately at your name tag, trying to understand from which institution you come from, and then starts asking a billion questions regarding what you do, who do you work with, and this and that. And it feels almost like an interview, not really as a conversation. So for me, that's an example of extractivism. That's when I'm asked way too many questions, which feel, in a way, just that the person, on the other hand, wants to, just collect a bunch of information from me, but is not really interested in a genuine dialogue, conversation, or a genuine encounter. I mean, this is pretty used. I mean, we're used to it in academia. We're used to it in any networking setting. And for me, that sometimes feels quite uncomfortable. Of course, the line in between what is extractive and what not, it's very, very thin. The same happens with participatory research, I think. Sometimes there's a very thin line in between our role as researchers collecting data and our role as humans engaging our other humans in conversations or in very intense processes of co-creation. And this balance between what we take from people and what we give is extremely delicate and creates and has been creating for a long time lots of struggles and feelings of awkwardness and what should I do and what not, in what circumstances and what not. So in that sense, I have found a few tools to try and mitigate the risks of extractivism, if not to, totally eliminate them. And one of them is when asking questions, for instance, in an interview setting, is to go back to the very useful resources offered by appreciative inquiry. So in the questions you will see in the MOOC inspired by appreciative inquiry, you'll see how there's very, very different ways of asking questions. And for instance, one thing you can do when you're designing an interview protocol is to sit back and ask yourself, okay, how is this question phrased? How is it framed? And what am I really getting out of it? So for instance, this appreciative inquiry guideline, which I'm going to read from now, tells you in terms of questioning check, is this question relevant to the real life and the real work of people? Is this a genuine question, a question to which we really don't know the answer? What work do I want to do with this question? What kind of conversation, meanings, and feelings do I want to evoke? Is this question likely to invite fresh thinking and feeling? What assumptions or beliefs are embedded in the way this question is constructing, which links back to reflexivity, positionality, and really how our cultures, values, and assumptions influence the way we approach research. Is this question likely to generate hope, imagination, engagement, a sense of new possibilities? Does this question leave room for new and different questions to be raised or explored? So I think if we were to design a protocol, an interview protocol, having in mind these questions, we could certainly create processes of dialoguing with people less extractive and more generative. The second thing that I've been, inspired by is nonviolent communication. So another way to try and create processes which are less extractive are to always ask ourselves, what is the need? And how can I do to help? So instead of asking to try and interpret situation, which is what often we do, especially with our researchers' classes, is to just observe and trying to see what needs are there and how we can try and meet those needs, which are both our self needs as researchers, but also the needs of the people we are engaging. Also, another tool offered by nonviolent communication is mirroring. So instead of trying to engage in conversations where we offer a judgment or again an interpretation, rather approach people and what they told us by saying, what I heard you saying is, which is a way to try and see whether what we understood is actually accurate, and put back the voice to those we are engaging. Finally, some other ways in which we can try to build non-extractive processes is by really carefully designing our engagement processes. And there you have tools we have presented in other units, for instance, Theory U, Appreciative Inquiry, or Medicine Will, which really allow you to try and think carefully what you're trying to do and how you're going to do it. For instance, by creating spaces for people also to connect, not just to give you information, but also to have the chance to get to know each other or to learn new things and build capacities through the process. Also, extractivism, I think, comes in some ways when we try to create processes that are too rushed. So time is such a precious resource, and we can be very extractive when we try to put too many things in too little time. So it's very important to create spacious moments, which can be definitely combined with more, rushed moments. But this balance of time should be very carefully thought through when we design, engagement processes. And very finally, this is the very final lessons I learned in my engagement processes, is to try and create outputs which are useful also for participants and not just for our research. And that's perhaps one of the most challenging things to do, because we have so little time to take care of so many different outputs, and definitely writing papers takes so much of our time and effort. But there should be also conscious effort put into, and therefore also budgeted time put into creating outputs which can be accessible and useful for the people we're engaging. Short reports, learning portfolios, bits and pieces that people can take home and use in their future endeavors, complemented by pictures, and nice visuals that people can immediately access. Definitely not long, wordy, and jargony, papers which they might not be able to really read at any time. And with a bit of creativity, you can also create outputs which create some memorable experience for people. And in that sense, creative methods can really make the difference.